My child, stop right there. Do not scroll past this, because something just happened that has your name on it. And if you ignore this moment even for a second, you may miss what has already been released for you. There was a reaction, a sudden response, something that caused shock in a place you never expected, because your name appeared where it was not expected to appear. And when it did, it changed everything. This was not small. This was not ordinary. This was something that made even the system pause, something that made the bank itself react, because the amount that was released in your name was not something they see every day. And before this message continues, pause right now and type Amen if you believe God brought you here, because this is not random. This is a divine interruption meant to reach you before it's too late. There was a moment behind the scenes, a moment you could not see, where your name was brought forward in a place of decision. And what followed was unexpected even to those who handle such things daily. The bank did not expect your name. They did not expect that level of release attached to you. And yet it happened. Something was processed. Something was approved. Something was released. And it carried a weight, a value, a financial magnitude that caused a reaction. And you need to understand this clearly. This was not accidental money. This was not random provision. This was something aligned, something prepared, something that had been held back until the exact moment it could reach you fully and remain with you. My beloved, there were times you questioned your finances, times you wondered why nothing seemed to move, why opportunities slipped, why doors closed just when you needed them most. But what you could not see was that many of those closed doors were protecting this very moment, because if something smaller had reached you earlier, you might have settled, you might have stopped, you might have missed what was truly meant for you. And so, what felt like delay was actually divine control. What felt like silence was actually preparation. And what felt like loss was actually protection over something far greater that is now being released in your name. Listen closely. Do not rush this moment, because there are layers to what is being revealed. And if you stay, if you remain present, you will begin to feel a confirmation rising within. Yup, there was a financial release, a real release, something that has already been approved, something that is not waiting forever, something that requires awareness, so you do not miss it, because many walk away right before things arrive. Many doubt right before confirmation comes. But you are being told right now, do not ignore this, do not treat this casually, because this carries your name. And if your spirit feels this even slightly, comment yes if your heart feels this truth. There was shock, not because something was released, but because of who it was released for. Your name was not expected in that position. Your situation did not match what they usually see. And yet what was attached to your name made them pause. It made them look again. It made them process it twice, because this kind of financial release does not happen in an ordinary way. And what you are about to realize is that heaven was behind this, aligning it, timing it, preparing it so that when it reached you, it would not be temporary. It would not disappear. It would not fail. Dear family, before we continue, I want to share something important. Recently our channel was demonetized by YouTube, which means we no longer receive earnings from these videos. Yet every message here takes many hours of prayer, writing, recording, and editing. Our mission is to bring hope and encouragement to those who feel lost, lonely, or overwhelmed. Without support, it becomes very difficult for us to keep creating these messages and continue running this channel. If these messages have ever helped or inspired you, you can support this mission through the links in the description or the pinned comment. Buy me a coffee. Even a small contribution helps us continue creating these messages and reaching people who need them the most. Thank you for your love, support, and prayers. God bless you. And now stay here, because what is unfolding goes deeper than the surface of what you just heard. This was not just a release. This was a timed release. Something that connects to prayers you thought went unanswered. Something that connects to nights you felt uncertain. Something that connects to moments you almost gave up. And what is powerful is this. It was already decided before you signed any sign of it. Before you had proof. Before you had confirmation. Before you had clarity. It was already being prepared in your name. My child, there were unseen battles around your finances. Unseen resistance that delayed things not to harm you, but to make sure what reaches you is stable, lasting, and aligned with your future. Because what is coming is not just money. It is flow. It is stability. It is a shift that changes how things come to you, how things stay with you, how things grow around you, and you will begin to notice that what once felt blocked no longer resists the same way. There will be signs, small at first, moments that seem almost too subtle, but they are confirmations, unexpected openings, sudden opportunities, people, ideas, or pathways that align without forced, and these are not coincidences. They are connected to what has already been released. And if you trust that something financial is shifting for you right now, type 11 if you trust God's timing. Because what you acknowledge begins to anchor what is already moving. Do not doubt this moment. Do not let old thoughts pull you back into the belief that nothing changes. Because something has already changed, the release has already happened, the approval has already been made. And what remains is your awareness, your alignment, your willingness to receive what is already on its way to you. There is a flow returning to you. A financial flow that does not come with the same struggle. A provision that begins to find you in ways you did not expect. And while it may begin quietly, it will not remain small, because what is aligned with divine timing expands beyond what you imagined. And if you feel that something is shifting for you, type 777. Because this is the moment where change begins to become visible. Do not miss this. Do not walk away, because what has been released in your name is not something that waits for a verge. It is something that finds those who are aware, those who are present, those who recognize the moment when it arrives. And you are here right now because this moment was meant to find you. And as this unfolds, as you begin to see it with your own eyes, you will look back at this exact moment and realizing this, when everything changed, this was when the shift began. This was when what was once delayed finally found its way to you, and you did not miss it. And as this begins to unfold more clearly before you, you will start to understand why this moment carried such urgency, why you were not allowed to scroll past it, why something inside you felt pulled to stay, because what has already been released in your name is not waiting in silence. It is actively moving toward you, aligning circumstances, adjusting timing, and opening pathways that were previously closed, my beloved. There are movements happening right now, even as you listen, movements that are shifting things in your favor in ways you cannot fully see yet, but you will soon recognize, and when you do, you will remember that this moment, this exact moment, was when you were first made aware that something financial had already been set into motion for you. My child, there is something you must understand about what just happened when God moves in a way that touches systems. When God releases something that even a bank cannot ignore, it does not follow the normal pattern. It does not arrive in the expected way, and that is why there was shock, because what was processed in your name did not match your visible circumstances. It did not align with what others assumed about you, and yet it was approved anyway. And this is where many become confused, because they look at their current reality and they do not see the evidence yet. But what you are being told now is that the evidence is already on its way, because what has been released cannot remain hidden forever. There is a timing to this, a very precise timing, and you are stepping into it right now, not later, not someday, But now, and as you step into this alignment, you will begin to notice that certain delays begin to lift, certain resistances begin to fade, and certain opportunities begin to present themselves without the struggle you once faced. And this is not coincidence. This is confirmation. And if your spirit is recognizing this shift, if something within you is beginning to feel lighter, clearer, more expectant, then type Amen if you receive this message, because what you acknowledge begins to align with what is already moving toward you. Do not rush away from this moment. Stay here, remain still for a second, because there is something deeper still being revealed. What has been released is not just about provision. It is about restoration. It is about things being returned, things being restored in a way that reflects not just what was lost, but what was meant to grow from what you went through. And this is why the amount, the weight of what was released, caused such a reaction, because it carries not just value, but purpose, not just provision, but timing, not just money, but alignment with where you are being led next. My beloved, there were moments when you felt overlooked, when you felt like your efforts were unseen, when you wondered if anything was being noticed at all. But what you could not see was that your name was being recorded, your persistence was being recognized, and your journey was being considered in ways that would eventually lead to this release. And now that it has happened, now that it has been approved, you are entering a phase where what was once hidden begins to show itself, piece by piece, confirmation by confirmation, until it becomes undeniable. There will be a moment very soon where something shifts externally, something that catches your attention, something that makes you pause and say, "This is different." And that moment will not be random. It will be directly connected to what has already been released. And when that moment comes, remember this. Remember that you were told not to miss it. Remember that you were told to stay aware, because that moment will be a doorway, a sign that what was processed in the unseen has now begun to appear in your reality. And my child, as this unfolds, you will also begin to notice that your mindset starts to change. Your expectations begin to rise, not out of wishful thinking, but out of quiet confidence, because something within you will know that what is coming is real. And this inner shift is just as important as the external one, because it prepares you to receive without doubt, to recognize without hesitation, to accept without resistance. And if you feel this inner shift beginning, even slightly, comment yes if your spirit feels this truth. There is also something you must be aware of when something like this is released. When God moves in a way that leaves even systems in shock, there can be moments where doubt tries to return, where old thoughts try to convince you that nothing has changed. But you must not listen to that voice, because it is not aligned with what has already been done. What has been released is already yours. What has been approved already carries your name. And what is moving toward you is not uncertain. It is inevitable as long as you remain aligned and aware. My beloved, the flow that is returning to your life is not temporary. It is not unstable. It is not something that will come and go without purpose. It is a restored flow, a financial movement that begins to stabilize, to grow, to expand in a way that reflects the source from which it came. And you will begin to see that what once required effort now begins to align more naturally. What once felt blocked now begins to open more easily. And what once seemed distant now begins to draw closer without force. There is a reason this had to happen now, a reason it did not happen earlier. Because you are now in a position where you can handle it, where you can sustain it, where you can grow it into something greater than what you originally imagined. And this is why the delay was necessary. This is why the preparation took time. Because what is coming to you is not just meant to arrive, it is meant to remain, to multiply, to become part of your journey in a lasting way. And as you continue to stay present in this moment, As you continue to listen, to feel, to receive, you will begin to notice that clarity replaces confusion, that peace replaces uncertainty, and that expectation replaces doubt, and this is how you will know that you are aligned with what has already been released in. And if you believe that something is shifting in your life right now, type 777, because this is the moment where what was once hidden begins to reveal itself in ways that cannot be denied. Do not miss this, my child. Do not step away too soon, because what is unfolding is still in motion, still aligning, still moving toward you even now, and the same God who caused that moment of shock, the same God who moved in a way that made systems respond differently, is the same God who is guiding what comes next. And as you remain aware, as you remain open, as you remain present, you will see it, you will recognize it, and you will receive it exactly as it was meant to reach you. And when it finally arrives in full clarity, when you see it with your own eyes, when you experience it in your own life, there will be no doubt left, no question remaining, because you will know that this was the moment where everything began to shift, the moment where what had your name on it was no longer hidden, but revealed, and you did not miss it, because you stayed, you listened, and you received what was already yours.